Hey, good evening, sports fans. What is going on? It is week 14 of high school football. Not many teams left semifinals going on this weekend, and 8-man through Class 5 in the state championship game just underway in Class 6 up in Columbia at Memorial Stadium. We'll keep you updated on that as we go through the show. I tell you what, we're getting texts from coaches from around the state right now. We've got some big games that have gone on, and all the games at this time are huge. Welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Here on the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Week 14 State Semifinal High School Football Scoreboard, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, Great Southern Bank, Liuna, Labor's Local 663, the Bank of Billings, and as always, live from the Pizza Ranch studio. One game last night, and that was in 8-man football, and that was saw North Archie advance to the state championship game with a 60-22 win. I'm sorry, saw North Andrew advance with a 60-22 win over Archie. Today, an 8-man punching their ticket to the state championship game was Bishop LeBlanc. Bishop LeBlanc defeats Sweet Springs 44-22. In the Class 1 state semifinals today, brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks. All games started at 1 p.m. except for the Class 6 state championship, which began at 4. So they're about to halftime there. We'll run through some of those scores, or that score as well. But in Class 1 state semifinals today, it was East Buchanan with a 41-14 victory over Duchesne. And Adrian defeats Monroe City 32-16. So it'll be Adrian and East Buchanan. And we'll run down the schedules for next week as well. In the Class 2 state semifinals, today at 1 o'clock, it was Bowling Green 66-48 over Blair Oaks, and I believe that's incorrect. I believe that is Blair Oaks is the victor there as they punched their ticket. I'll have to double check on that, but I'm fairly certain Blair Oaks did win that contest, so my bad. And then Lamar avenging their only loss of the season to Seneca back a couple of months ago, and came out in a vengeance with going up 35-0, I believe 42-0, but they win over Seneca 49-14. So Blair Oaks is the victor there as they defeat Bowling Green 66-48. In the Class 3 semifinals, it was Cardinal Ritter defeating Pleasant Hill 54-35, and I believe we will hear from Brennan Spain, the Cardinal Ritter head coach. They're on the bus right now. Just talked with him a little while ago and thought he might be able to jump in here around 20 after 5. And between him, his interview, and now we will hear from Reed Spring head football coach Andy McFarland here in just about 5 minutes as they defeat Sullivan 49-30 and advance for the first time ever in school history to the state football championship game where they will meet Cardinal Ritter. Class 4 state semifinals, St. Mary's comes from behind and they defeat Smithville 37-23. Smithville defending state champion, but St. Mary's rallies and they get a 37-23 victory. St. Dominic will be St. Mary's opponent as St. Dominic defeats West Plains 42-14. In the Class 5 state semifinals, it was Fort Osage over Cape Central 56-20, and Francis Howe defeats Carthage 35-13. Class 6 championship going on right now, and it's with a little over 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Lee Summit North is on top of CBC 21-14. 14. And we'll check in there and just kind of double check some of those, see if there's been any updates, I should say. And not seeing anything. CBC, well, at least Summit North drove down. They took the kickoff and they drove down to the 4-yard line, unable to punch it in. And then 2 plays later, Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame commit for CBC, went 80 yards for the touchdown. They went up 7-0, but they now trail 21-14. And we're texting here. We've got Coach Andy McFarland reaching out via text, wanting to make sure that his time to come on. And very exciting down there at in Reed Spring. Reed Spring went down 6-0 to Sullivan. Sullivan always goes for 2. They were unsuccessful after they're following their first touchdown. Reed Spring then scored and went up 7-6 and then 14-6. And then Sullivan got in the end zone and 2-point conversion was successful. It was 14-all. And then inexplicably, with no time on the clock, basically, Reed Spring wide receiver James Dowdy, I believe James Dowdy, got behind the defenders, went for 80 yards and the touchdown as time expired in the first half. And what a huge day for Dowdy as he sets 2 school records in the same game. He sets the single game yards receiving with 7 catches for 239 yards. He had 2 touchdowns receiving. He also returned a kickoff for a touchdown. And then later in the game, intercepted a pass and became the single season all-time leader in interceptions. So probably a Chevy Dealers of the Ozark Athlete of the Week nominee there for Dowdy. We're going to step away and take a quick time out here. You can join us on the chat wall on Facebook or wherever you'd like. Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. But you're listening to Friday Night Live on a Saturday here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Back after this.
The qualities in a truck that are most important are reliability, just really great function.
Having a truck is pretty much a necessity to getting to most of these locations. Oftentimes it's narrow, steep, loose, rough, rocky roads.
Having a truck is essential to every part of what we do, from picking up material for the home to delivering the home.
Always carrying something, pulling something.
It's something that we use every single day here.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
Only Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request.
And we are joined on the show now by Andy McFarland, head coach of Reed Spring Wolves. And Coach McFarland, hey, congratulations.
Hey, thank you very much.
I tell you what, they're probably still awfully excited down there at Reed Spring. And what a tremendous game today.
Yeah, it was an amazing performance by our guys. I couldn't be more proud of our team, proud of our coaches, and we've got a lot of love and support from our community over the last couple of weeks, and they came out for us today, and it was a great atmosphere. It was a great high school football game.
Coach, you go down 6-0 there early. You come back and you're up 14-6. But really, in the second half, you kind of ran away with it. You had a couple of turnovers and some costly penalties there. What were the adjustments made at halftime?
Well, just prior, there were 7 seconds left, and we threw about an 80-yard touchdown on the last play of the first half, and then that gives you a major boost, of course, going into halftime, and then we got the ball out of halftime, and we just made a few adjustments. They didn't really change much that they did defensively, and offensively we were able to adjust to the defensive front that they were giving us. They played man coverage all day long, and we had a wide receiver, James Dowdy, break the school record for receiving yards in a single game, and then you do that in the semifinal game in front of your home crowd. That's a pretty special day. But our offensive line did a great job. My O-line coach, John Kessinger, did a great job just changing some things, change some insert points when we pull a tackle or a guard, and just adjust the way that we manage our down blocks on the front side of plays, and kind of sticking to the game plan in the second half, and boys made plays.
Yeah, you talk about that big 80-yard touchdown pass to James Dowdy. He went over 150 yards in the first half, finished with 7 receptions, I believe, for 239 yards, and then he returned a kick for a touchdown, I believe.
Yeah, he did. He had a kickoff return for a touchdown. He also had an interception. You talk about a heck of a day on the biggest stage that we've ever played in to this point. And the kickoff return also, obviously, you put points on the board, it's a big deal, but it was we scored on our first possession at a halftime, and then they drove down and answered, and it was the ensuing kickoff right after they had scored a touchdown, and on their next possession they fumbled, and our middle linebacker Adam Lewis scooped and ran it back for a touchdown, and after that it was kind of all Wolves, and our guys finished the job.
With 5 or 6 minutes left there, how are you keeping your guys under control on the sidelines? You're up 49-20 at that time. What are you doing there to kind of keep their heads in the game and make sure, hey, this could still get away from us? What was the sidelines like?
Well, we actually kind of talked about it at halftime. You've got something to lose at this point. You're playing next week and the other team isn't. Their season is going to end. And, that's a sad reality to come to when you've had a season like both teams that played today have had. You get into the semifinal and emotions kind of can take over. And our guys did a tremendous job. Taking care of those little things as they come along.
So, Coach, who was the first guy to text you and congratulate you? I mean, this is the first time Reed Spring has ever been, and I bet your phone is just blowing up.
Yeah, it's still buzzing in my hand here as we're talking. I had about 50 text messages. I don't know who the first person to text me was. I've got a lot of texts from coaches that are in the Big 8, guys that we played against this year, which, that shows you what kind of people they are, a lot of class. And there's a lot of respect just in coaching in general. Coaches, recognize success when other guys have it and celebrate that. And that's something that's special about our career in general. But, something that was special today, I had a lot of people, from my past that took the time to come out and see the game today. And one of the first people I did see on the sideline, and I actually got to give him a hug as the team took the field when I come out before the opening kickoff, was Gary Turner, who was my high school head coach at Hillcrest High School 20 years ago. And he came down and saw the game today. And, that's a pretty special thing when people take the time out on a holiday weekend and when there's rain in the forecast and all of that stuff to come support you. It means a lot.
Coach, as you go back on this run to the state championship game, go back to maybe even going back into the regular season and that win in that great game with Mount Vernon, that you feel like that kind of propelled you where you thought, hey, we can win a tight game, we can win a close game, and that was for a conference championship.
You know what? I honestly would go farther back in the season to a game that we lost. We hosted Seneca. I can't remember if it was week 4, 5, or 6. It was somewhere in there. And we got down 21-0. Both teams were state ranked. They're a very, very good team. I know that they lost today to a good Lamar team, but they are one of the best teams that we had played all season long, even including the playoffs. And, we're down by 3 scores, and we came back, and with 8 minutes, the game was tied at 49. And, they scored, and then we had a chance to score, and we didn't come away with a win. However, I saw something in my team that I hadn't seen. This is year 3. I hadn't seen that yet in the first 2 years, and that was the confidence and the willingness to fight, even when it's really stinking hard, and the ability to make plays when everything's on the line. And you referenced the Mount Vernon overtime win. You need to make one play to win a game. They go for a 2-point conversion in overtime, and we stop them. And it's maybe not just one moment; it's little moments that you keep stacking on top of each other that takes you to where you're at. But confidence is a really, really important thing. And like you mentioned, whenever you've been there, done that before, and in certain situations, you feel like you can do it again, regardless of what week it is that you're playing.
Hey, Coach, one of the most impressive things I saw tonight is this is a Sullivan team that comes in just giving up about 9 points a game. And for you guys to put up 49 on them and then hold them, to the 30, and I know a lot of that 10 of that 30 was late in the game, but talk about just your offense today and how impressive they were.
It was actually 49-20. Our defense did an outstanding job and holding them to 20 points because they had been scoring a lot of points as well. But no, offensively, there was 3 or 4 looks that we had seen them give opposing offenses when we're scouting their defense, and we felt like we had a pretty good plan for all 3. They played a lot of man coverage today with no safety, a lot of cover 0, and they tried to pack the box and stop our run game, which has been really successful over the last month. The way that you can kind of counter that is to max protect, and we had a lot of 7-man protection today, and just throwing the ball over the top and letting our playmakers make plays, and all of those guys answered the call, and we had a big game throwing the ball today. We also were able to move the chains when we needed to on the ground, and that's a big shout out to our offensive line. What Sullivan tried to do defensively was try to outnumber you at the point of attack, and we were able to manage that and overcome sometimes those odds, and couldn't be more proud of our guys.
And now you've got the Cardinal Ritter Lions, and I know you haven't even looked at that yet, but another team that just gives up eight points a game. When do you start preparing for them? And be very careful because Coach Spain is coming on next, so don't give away any secrets.
No, I just got home just before I called you, and I was gonna maybe change my clothes and see my family and eat some dinner and then get to work. And that's kind of the way it goes during football season. And you want to talk about buy-in. Coach's family's got to be bought in just as much as the players on the field, because there's a whole lot of time on the weekends where they don't see me that much. I'm either at the office or in my home office. And so it's a quick turnaround. We're going to get right to work. You bet. Well, Coach, first off, before we let you go here, you guys come out of today relatively healthy.
Absolutely, yeah. We've been lucky this year as far as that is concerned. And whenever you get to this point in the season and everybody's good, there's no bad teams left when you're deep in the playoffs. It's whoever can stay the healthiest that makes a big difference. And we've been lucky to be that team so far.
Great. Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I know you got a lot of people pulling on you, and go hug your family and get some dinner and get some rest. And we'll talk to you this week, as I'm sure that James Dowdy will get a nomination and probably a Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week segment that we'll have to get in touch with you about.
Yeah, he absolutely is deserving. He had a tremendous game today, and like I said, what a day to do that. You played in the semifinal. He had an impact in every phase of the game today. He did a great job.
You bet. Well, Coach, congratulations, and hug your family and have a good evening, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the coverage. Go Wolves.
You bet. You bet. Coach Andy McFarland there from Reed Spring, and big win. First time ever they're going to play in the state championship game, and It's a Coach McFarland. He mentioned his background there at Hillcrest. He was not only played at Hillcrest, he was on the staff there for several years at Hillcrest under Coach Beckham. I know he was there with Coach Beckham, and my sister was actually coaching at that time as well. But Cardinal Ritter comes in undefeated, scoring 44 points per contest. They get a win today, and I misspoke. It was Reed Spring 49-20. I don't know where I got that 30 from, but we will go from there. We'll run through the scores here one more time as we await Coach Brennan Spain. Well, it says 49-20. I think it's wrong on the scoreboard. It should be 49-20, but I thought it was 49-30. But yeah, we'll go with what Coach says. But we'll look that up. But anyway, here on the Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Week 14 state semifinals high school football scoreboard in 8-man football from last night, it was North Andrew over Archie 60-22, and they will play Bishop LeBlanc, who defeats Sweet Springs 44-22 in the other 8-man semifinal game. And going to refresh my page here. And in Class 1, it was East Buchanan 41-14 over Duchesne, and they will play Adrian, who defeated Monroe City 32-16. Blair Oaks over Bowling Green 66-48, and they will match up with Lamar, who put up 56 on a very good Seneca team. 56-14, Lamar gets the win over Seneca, avenging a loss earlier this season. In the Class 3 state semifinals, Cardinal Ritter 54-35 over Pleasant Hill, and Reed Spring over Sullivan 49-20. In Class 4 semifinals, St. Mary's defeats Smithville 37-23 and come from behind fashion. Smithville was in control of that game for about 2.5, almost 3 quarters before St. Mary's got going and wins by 2 scores. And St. Dominic moves on as they defeat West Plains 42-14. And in Class 5 state semifinals, Fort Osage over Cape Central 56-20, and Francis Howe defeats Carthage 35-13. The Class 6 state championship, CBC has just scored on an 84-yard passing touchdown from Cole McKee to Jeremiah Love. The PAT is no good, so Lee Summit North still leads CBC 21-20, and that was with 1:46 remaining in the half. We'll try and play the rest of that break here as we await Coach Brennan Spain from Cardinal Ritter back after this.
The qualities in a truck that are most important are reliability, just really great function.
Having a truck is pretty much a necessity to getting to most of these locations. Oftentimes it's narrow, steep, loose, rough, rocky roads.
Having a truck is essential to every part of what we do, from picking up material for the home to delivering the home.
Always carrying something, pulling something.
It's something that we use every single day here.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
Only Pizza Ranch serves buffet your way.
Don't you mean my way, Mr. Voiceover Guy?
Sure, anyone's way, actually. Request your favorite pizza. We'll make it, bake it, and give you the first slice.
I can add peppers to pepperoni, Stampede on stuffed crust, maybe Texan taco on thin. No tomatoes on my half. How can I convince Mom to let us eat here every night?
It's buffet your way at Pizza Ranch. Say it with me, kid.
Not only is Country Financial our insurance, but they treated us like family.
Relationships are the single most important piece of the puzzle. We always ask this question: what is the right thing to do?
Hey, welcome back to Friday Night Live here on a Saturday, 526. We're awaiting the phone call from Cardinal Ritter head football coach Brendan Spain. Got a text from Jared Beshore. He's at Lamar's, unable to join us here, and we'll try and get to him this week. Stay on top of all the scores. We'll be covering basketball. I know we got a message here, and we will do these recaps for basketball as well. And Peyton Clark, I appreciate the message, but we'll be starting that probably next week. Do a little bit of some basketball before the state championships come in, and then we've got our tip-off club meetings on December the 5th, which is Monday at the Pizza Ranch in Springfield. And then December 7th will be the women's side of the tip-off club. And then December 20th, we will be in Branson for the tip-off club meeting there. But certainly encourage you to join us for the tip-off club meetings. Get a buffet lunch from Pizza Ranch with salad bar and all the fixings, fried chicken and mashed potatoes and gravy and stuffing and corn and a lot of stuff you're probably still munching on right now from Thanksgiving. I certainly hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Lee Summit North scores on a 7-yard pass from Elijah Leonard to Isaiah Mosey with 4 seconds left in the half, and the PAT is good. So Lee Summit North leads CBC 28-20 now at the half, and that may be surprising. That may be surprising to some of you. Lee Summit North just had the one loss on the season, and that was to Liberty North. And then CBC defeated Liberty North in the semifinal to get to this point. And got a message to try and get the Blair Oaks coach on. And Ted LePage, we've had him on, and we will reach out to him this week and try and get Coach LePage on. He was part of a show that we did based on our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week with his quarterback Dylan Hare, who had set a record. But we will certainly reach out to everyone who is still playing come next week from 8-man football through Class 5 and try and get them on the Missouri Sports Network coming up this week. We'll also have some basketball interviews coming up this week. We've got the Arvest Classic starting next weekend over at Parkview, and we've always been part of that as well. So we'll get some of that in. Running down just the 8-man, the schedule for next week. The 8-man football championship will be Thursday night at 7 p.m. up at Memorial Stadium in Columbia. That will be the only game on Thursday. And then Friday will be Friday at 11 a.m. on Friday will be St. Dominic taking on St. Mary's in the Class 4 state championship. And then at 3 p.m. on Friday will be the Class 2 state championship, which will be Lamar and Blair Oaks. And then at 7 p.m. on Friday, the Class 5 state championship between Francis Howell and Fort Osage. On Saturday at 11 a.m. will be Reed Spring and Cardinal Ritter at 11 a.m. at Memorial Stadium. And then at 3 p.m. on Saturday will be the Class 1 state championship between Adrian and East Buchanan. Undefeated teams that are left: Blair Oaks is 13-0, North Andrew 13-0, East Buchanan is 13-1. Cardinal Ritter 13-0. Francis Howell is 13-0. Outside of that, those are the only undefeated teams that remain. So as we await here, maybe we'll run down through some of the basketball scores that we have at this time. There's a lot of tournaments going on next week. As you look at some of the tournaments around the state, next week is probably the biggest week as far as the number of tournaments going on. And we'll see if we can't just tell you some of those brackets that are going on. The Mexico tournament is the 28th through the 3rd. It's the Montgomery County Invitational Tournament is there. And I'll see if I can't blow that up a little bit. Montgomery County is the number 1 seed. The number 2 seed there is Herman. Mexico is the 3 seed. Clopton, the 4. New Haven, the 5. The 6 seed is Wellsville Middletown. And the 7 seed is Fulton. And the 8 seed is Bowling Green. So that's the Montgomery County Invitational Basketball Tournament. And that's a girls' tournament. In the boys' bracket, the 1 seed is Mexico. 2 seed is Fulton. The 3 seed is Montgomery County. Clopton is the 4 seed. Herman is the 5 seed. The 6 seed is Bowling Green. 7 seed is New Haven. And the 8 seed is Wellsville Middletown. So both boys and girls tournaments going there on at Montgomery County. In the Steelville, next week's schedule on November 28th. I'll get it right. It begins. Capital City is the 1 seed, and they get a bye. The 2 seed is Steelville, and they will play the 7 seed Farmington. The 3 seed is St. James. They'll play the 6 seed Cuba, and the 4 seed is Sullivan, and they will play Potosi there. And that is the Steelville FNC Bank Championship at Sullivan High School beginning on the 29th. Also, next week, Union will be playing. That tournament is going on now. The 1 seed was Borgia, and they do advance to the championship game as they defeat Metro 77-38, Washington 77-48, and they play today against U City, who's the 3 seed. U City defeated Pacific 61-45, and then upset Fort Zumwalt North 59-53, and all those games today, starting with the 7th place game, then the consolation, and the 3rd place game, and Borgia and U City. That game probably going on as we speak. In other news from around the state, basketball tournaments, the 76th annual Carthage Invitational, and that will be, I believe, Ray-Pec is the 1 seed. They will play Nevada. Joplin is the 4 seed. They will take on Rush. The 2 seed is Carthage, and they will take on Fort Smith Southside, who is the 7 seed. And Webb City, the 3 seed, will take on Leavenworth. Those games all begin on December the 8th, so a couple weeks out for that tournament there at Carthage. 76th annual Carthage tournament. A lot of things going on. Basketball kind of getting going right now. And we will step away and take a quick timeout. We come back, we'll run through the scores one more time, and we'll give Coach Spain an opportunity to give us a call. If not, we'll wrap it up. It's 5:35 here on Saturday for Friday Night Live. Back after this.
I believe banking should make your life greater. It starts with affordable options to meet today's needs and tomorrow's dreams. From smart account options that fit your style to flexible loans for what comes next. It means convenient ways to access and manage your money whenever you need it and wherever you're headed. Most of all, it takes great support. Someone you can count on for trusted guidance and to be there for you every step of the way. Great options, great convenience, great support for life. Great Southern Bank, understanding what really matters.
Enjoy a fresh start to your meal at Pizza Ranch, where the salad bar is always included with your buffet. Every day you'll find garden fresh greens, colorful veggies, and sides for every appetite. It's the most refreshing way to balance out a meal while leaving plenty of room for your other buffet favorites. Convenient, fast, and fresh. It's the Pizza Ranch Salad Bar. Mmm.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a time like this, in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's a lot better now.
It was like a huge weight lifted.
Hey, welcome back to Friday Night Live here on a Saturday, 5:36 here in the neighborhood. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Run through the schedule here one more time. Actually, I'll run through the scoreboard first. And we'll start off with 8-man football. There was one game last night, 8-man football, and that was North Andrew over Archie, 60-22. And they will play Bishop LeBlond on Thursday night at 7 o'clock at Memorial Stadium in Columbia as Bishop LeBlond defeats Sweet Springs 44-22. Your Class 1 semifinals, East Buchanan defeats Duchesne 41-14, and they will take on Adrian in the Class 1 state championship as they defeat Monroe City 32-16. Class 2 state semifinals, it was Blair Oaks over Bowling Green 66 to 48. In that contest, we've got Coach Spain. We're going to give him a call here real quick and see if we can't get him on. So you're going to hear the phone ringing. Yes, this is high tech. Coach Spain, hey, welcome to the Missouri Sports Network, and congratulations on the victory today.
Appreciate it.
Coach, tell us a little bit about the game there in that Class 3 state semifinal with Pleasant Hill, 54-35. But it sounded like it was maybe a little bit closer game than that.
It was a good game. We made mistakes, and Pleasant Hill definitely capitalized off of it. They had a momentum early. They made plays, which we expect. This is the state semifinal. And we expected their team to be well prepared. Their team to be anxious and fight for a trip to state as well. So they, kudos to them. The coach did an excellent job preparing them. But just like I shared with you on yesterday, it's nothing against anybody else and nothing like that. We're on a mission. And we've been on that since this time last year when we didn't have smiles on our face around this time losing to St. Pius. So ever since then, we just been kind of locked in on getting back to this point of being successful. The game was exactly what we thought it was. Hard fought, high intensity, high energy. The team that makes the fewest mistakes will be successful. I thought that defensively, we kind of became undisciplined in terms of our eyes, and just like I said, kudos to those guys. They had a couple of receivers make some hell of a catches. But one thing I knew is that what we would do offensively would be a little bit different than something that they haven't seen all year. It's the ability for us to be able to be creative in space. Our ability to make guys miss in space was huge for us today.
Well, Coach, coming out of this game, 54-35, you get the win. You come out of it relatively healthy as a team.
Oh, absolutely. No injuries. You know, we're as healthy as you can be around this time of the year. Everybody's geared up. Everybody will be available for next week. You know, we're going to enjoy this for the night. And, you know, right back looking at I believe Reed Springs for the state title. So everybody's healthy.
Yeah, we just got off the air with Coach McFarland at Reed Spring, and you know, talking about his victory. And that game was pretty close going into half, and they got an 80-yard touchdown pass with 7 seconds on the clock going in at half, and then scored on their first possession in the second half and kind of ran away with that. But a big athletic team is Reed Spring, and I know you haven't looked at that. He hasn't looked at your film or anything yet, but you got to go ahead and celebrate this victory, and then get on the road to you know, working on Reed Spring here as you get early into the week and maybe even tomorrow.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that sounds about right. You know, we just want to enjoy this. You know, sometimes we look too far ahead of things. We really don't be able to enjoy the process or really enjoy the hard work. Like I said, this team here has been through a lot. This is our third semi-final, and you know, third time the Chong was able to get over the hump. You know, but the goal this year wasn't just to get over the hump. The goal was to bring the school its first ever state title. So we still have we still have work to do. You know, we still have to make sure that we finish the mission, if that makes sense.
Well, Coach, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. We had you on last night, kind of late as you got the hotel. Now you've had to travel back, and I really appreciate you being part of the show. And we'll maybe reach out and visit with you next week when it's a little bit more comfortable for you. You're not in a hotel room or just getting off the school bus for 4 hours. But I really appreciate it, Coach, and congratulations and good luck as you prepare for the state championship game.
Yes, sir. I greatly appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You bet. Thanks, Coach.
All right, take care.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye. That was the head coach of the Cardinal Ritter Lions as they get a win 54-35, and Reed Spring puts up 49 points. Cardinal Ritter puts up 54 points. And you look at that Class 2 with Blair Oaks at 66 and Lamar at 56. So lots of points being put on the board today in the class or in the semifinals. Now, I don't know what the weather was like around the state. I do know at Reed Spring, it didn't start raining until about 3 minutes to go in the game. So they had tremendous weather there until that 3 minutes, and the game was already over by that point. But so I don't know what other teams dealt with regards to the rain. I know Reed Spring was supposed to get rain, and they did get rain, but it wasn't until that game was almost over. But anyway, you've been listening to Friday Night Live here on a Saturday evening, 5:45. We greatly appreciate the coaches being a part of the show. Folks that are out there messaging. Peyton, thanks for your messages as well. To Coach Archer, who's in the green room typing up little notes, and for me to make sure that I stay on task here. We will update at scoreboardguy.net. You'll see all the scores there. And as soon as we get a final from CBC, we'll get it there. Or you can follow along on Twitter at Scoreboard Guy or at Missouri_sports. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you go to Facebook at Missouri Sports Network and like us on Facebook. The numbers are going crazy right now, but we certainly appreciate you tuning in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us, me too. Take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. And as always, keep it right here on the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. Good night. God bless.